mayoral candidate will be on the general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally of current Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is
a mayoral candidate being challenged. The saga surrounding embattled South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard continues.
Tiffany Henyard's political career has become a whirlwind of controversy, drama, and questionable decisions. Now the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dalton is back in the spotlight, this time unveiling a brand new team of allies, all women, in what appears to be a last-ditch effort to hold on to power. With scandals mounting, federal investigations looming, and her reputation in freefall, Henyard's move has raised eyebrows. But this isn't just about assembling a new team. It's about what this shift symbolizes and whether it's enough to weather the political chaos she's stirred up. Strap in, because this saga is as chaotic as it is captivating.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard was not at the hearing here today. Neither was her attorney, and she was not made available for a comment.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard was notably absent from today's hearing, as was her attorney, and she declined to provide any comment. Let's break it down. Henyard, who holds dual roles as the mayor of Dalton and the Thornton Township supervisor, has been embroiled in relentless controversy since taking office. From allegations of financial mismanagement to an ongoing federal investigation into taxpayer-funded luxury trips and questionable spending linked to her namesake charity, Henyard's reputation has suffered repeated blows. Yet, despite these setbacks, she's forging ahead with a re-election campaign, audaciously presenting herself as the leader Dalton needs. Though many residents argue she's the least qualified for the job. Her latest gambit? Assembling a so-called ragtag team of women to bolster her bid to retain power. While the move could be seen as bold and empowering on the surface, critics argue it's little more than a calculated ploy. They suggest this new team is more about optics than competence, a transparent attempt to deflect attention from Henyard's growing list of scandals. Henyard's critics aren't buying into the fanfare surrounding her all-women team, dismissing it as a calculated move to manipulate public sentiment and salvage her increasingly tenuous political position. Some residents have gone as far as accusing her of using these women as mere props in a larger game of distraction. If she thinks putting together a team of women will make us forget about the negative balance in the village's bank account, she's got another thing coming: putting a label on its fridge. One Dalton resident remarked during a heated town hall meeting, "The skepticism is just as strong on social media, where discussions about her new team are laced with both doubt and humor." One user sarcastically labeled Henyard's group as the super squad of excuses, encapsulating the public's mistrust and the growing belief that this move is more about optics than meaningful leadership.
It's about democracy and it's about hypocrisy.
I really think it's very hypocritical.
Here's the thing. Henyard's strategy might actually resonate with some voters. By aligning herself with an all-women team, she's tapping into a narrative of empowerment and progress that could appeal to those who feel underrepresented in local politics. It's a savvy move, especially in a political climate where voters are increasingly drawn to candidates who promise change and inclusivity. However, critics argue that Henyard's actions don't match her rhetoric. This isn't about empowerment, one political analyst noted. It's about survival. Henyard knows her scandals have tarnished her reputation, and she's trying to rebrand herself as a champion for women to distract from the controversies. What makes this even more compelling is the stark contrast between Henyard's public messaging and the reality of her leadership. While she's presenting her team as a capable group of women poised to transform Dalton, the village's residents are still grappling with the aftermath of her administration's financial mismanagement. From unaccounted-for expenses to allegations of taxpayer fund misuse, these unresolved issues leave many wondering if Henyard's new team is anything more than a facade.
Again, no comment from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Voters here will first head to the polls in February for the primary election, then the general mayoral election.
Let's talk about this team. The lineup includes Linda Terrell, Tina Hughes, Jocelyn King, and Vanessa Wesco, all vying for key roles in Dalton's government under Henyard's leadership. While each member brings a unique backstory, collectively they're already under fire for their qualifications, or lack thereof.
Take Linda Terrell, for example. She's described as a licensed educator with decades of experience in Illinois banking, but her bio raises more questions than it answers. Terrell claims to have been a Dalton resident for 35 years, while simultaneously stating she's only lived in Illinois for 30 years. Unless she's mastered time travel, something doesn't add up. To make matters worse, her credentials are riddled with grammatical errors, adding fuel to critics' accusations that Henyard is surrounding herself with unqualified allies. Then there's Jocelyn King, who touts herself as the overseer of 8 departments and a $20 million annual budget at Thornton Township. Overseer? The term alone has sparked plenty of side-eye and sarcastic comments online, with many questioning whether it's just a grandiose way of saying she was in the same building as the departments she claims to manage. King's vague and inflated credentials feel straight out of Henyard's playbook, leaving many wondering if the mayor had a hand in crafting her bio. Not so effectively as a Balearic bio. Veraretia illitura curiositas, nomina vota compatia.
She's one of the most recognizable faces that's been on the news lately. I'm talking about the mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard.
And all of social media.
And let's not forget the controversy surrounding Henyard's own background. While she often highlights her historic achievement as the youngest and first female mayor of Dalton, her tenure has been marred by scandal. From allegations of embezzlement to reports of unaccounted-for funds, including the infamous $40,000 spent on Amazon purchases in a single day, Henyard's leadership has been anything but stable. Her administration's financial troubles have drawn scrutiny from multiple angles, including an investigation by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who uncovered a staggering negative balance of over $35 million in Dalton's general fund. Yet, despite these revelations, Henyard seems undeterred, pressing forward with a new team in what critics view as an attempt to shift attention away from the chaos she's left in her wake. Speaking of deflection, Henyard's critics have been outspoken in their skepticism toward her latest slate of allies. One online commenter put it bluntly: anyone who would get on a ticket with her is deemed to be suspect, and, honestly, can you blame them? Henyard's reputation has become so toxic that aligning with her appears less like a strategic move and more like career suicide. Another commenter voiced the question on everyone's mind: have I missed something? How in the world is this woman not in jail and running again? It's a valid concern, considering the mountain of controversies surrounding Henyard, from accusations of voter suppression in Thornton Township to her alleged misuse of public funds.
It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Wow.
Let's talk about the title of this, because it's called Super Mayor, and that is what Tiffany Henyard calls herself.
Adding to the skepticism is the lack of transparency surrounding how Henyard selected her team. While most candidates emphasize the qualifications or vetting process of their running mates, Henyard has remained conspicuously silent about why these individuals were chosen. This has fueled speculation that loyalty, rather than competence, was the primary criterion. When your leadership is crumbling, you don't pick people who will challenge you, you pick people who will follow orders, said a political strategist familiar with Dalton politics. This perceived lack of merit-based selection has only deepened doubts about whether Henyard's team is equipped to tackle the village's mounting issues. Critics argue that assembling a group of allies without clear qualifications reflects poorly on Henyard's priorities and further erodes confidence in her leadership. But Henyard's allies aren't the only ones facing backlash. The mayor herself continues to face criticism for her handling of the Thornton Township Democratic Caucus, where she was unceremoniously removed from the ballot for township supervisor. Henyard has since filed lawsuits alleging the caucus was illegal and rife with voter suppression, but her detractors see this as yet another instance of her refusing to accept accountability. State Senator Napoleon Harris, who chaired the caucus and ultimately secured the Democratic nomination himself, dismissed Henyard's allegations as baseless, bluntly calling her lawsuit garbage. The clash between Henyard and Harris has further highlighted the divisions within local politics, leaving residents to question whether their leadership is more focused on personal vendettas than addressing Dalton's real challenges. Susan Arley, maker of the Dalton Crystal Glacier.
Fights in Thornton Township and in Dalton, except in one case, Tiffany Henyard wants on a ballot, while in another, a Henyard ally was looking to keep her opponent off.
And yet, Henyard remains defiant. In her own words, "The people will put me on the ballot." But will they? That's the million-dollar question. As Dalton gears up for its next election cycle, Henyard's challengers, including current village trustee Jason House, are positioning themselves as ethical alternatives to her scandal-plagued administration. House, a lifelong Dalton resident with 8 years of experience on the board, has vowed to prioritize ethics reform and restore trust in the community, two qualities sorely missing under Henyard's leadership. To complicate matters further, Henyard's federal troubles show no signs of disappearing. The ongoing investigation into her administration has uncovered a laundry list of questionable expenditures, from extravagant taxpayer-funded trips to a sparsely attended concert that somehow racked up over $85,000 in costs. Adding to the scrutiny is her cancer charity, which has been accused of failing to disclose how it allocates its funds. These allegations paint a damning picture of a politician, seemingly more invested in self-enrichment than in addressing the needs of her constituents. As the election draws nearer, the stakes couldn't be higher. Dalton residents must now decide whether Henyard's bold defiance is a sign of resilience or simply another chapter in a leadership legacy marred by controversy and mismanagement.
Has this surprised you, how much the viewership has gravitated towards this woman? Like, people from all over the world are talking about.
At the end of the day, Henyard's political future hinges on whether Dalton residents are willing to overlook her scandals and give her another chance. Her new all-women team might help her project an image of change and progress, but for many, it's too little, too late. As one local resident put it, the real business isn't being done because of all this nonsense. We need action from someone who's actually going to work for the people. So, here's the big question. Can Tiffany Henyard and her new team turn things around? Or is this just another chapter in a long saga of political chaos? Will Dalton voters see through the flashy bios and questionable credentials? Or will they give her the benefit of the doubt? One thing is certain. This election is shaping up to be one of the most dramatic in the town's history. All eyes will be on Henyard to see if she can navigate the storm, or if her political career will sink under the weight of controversy. What do you think about Henyard and her new team? Do you believe in their vision, or is this just another political smokescreen? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The drama is far from over, and we'll be here to bring you the latest updates as this story unfolds. Stay tuned.